What is up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the Real Steel Knives G5 Metamorph. This is an O-Stop Hell design 3.54-inch blade, a 14C28 and Sandvik steel. I weighed it in at 2.3 ounces, and it's in a drop point shape there on that blade. It does have G10 scales, and this particular one is the blacked out edition, which is available only at the Knife Center. There are many other colors available out there. I got it for $50 on sale. And you can get this one normally for $60 if you're not able to find one of those out on sale. This particular knife is, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons, but first let's take a look at some comparison knives. First one for my collection is the Boker LRF Kansei LRF. That's also a top flipper. And then one of your other kind of thin, stabby, gentlemanly knives is the CKRT CEO. This one will not stand up, so I'll just put it on its side like there. But you can see it's kind of in that same vein of thin knives that, you can kind of carry. They call them gentlemanly. I don't know exactly what that means. It's kind of cliche. But in any case, those are some comparison knives based on cost and also the shape of it. Let's jump right into the pros. This one of the pros is also a con. It has a very strong detent, and we'll talk about that. There is quite a learning curve. It is very deep and slim carry in the pocket. If you take a look at that, it's very thin and very, very subtle. It goes actually, there we go, to the top. Tough to see on there. It really has excellent texturing and chamfering throughout on this thing. If you just take a look at the edges there, I don't know how well this will show up, but it's actually a marvelously designed knife in terms of comfort for such a neutral hand positioning. It's got one of the best things about this thing is, and also really it speaks to what is just perfectly designed about this, is if you look at that liner lock right there, it just peaks right above this design cutout in the G10. And what I love about that is they did not have to then scallop out the G10 at all, but yet this totally fits in with the knife if you take a look at it. So that's just like probably one of the best liner locks I've ever seen in terms of easy access, subtle, and just absolutely in line the way that it peaks up there. It allows it to really maintain that beautiful symmetry that this has. This was definitely a knife that was thought out throughout. Just about everything in here. Again, I talked about the beautiful lines and symmetry of this knife. It really is. It definitely meets a lot of fidget factor for a top flipper. It takes a little bit of practice on that particular one. But the last thing I really wanted to say about the super well thought out design, other than everything you can see on here, is the back spacer. You can actually see that there's some flow through there, but yet it still covers the blade entirely, so there's no exposure at all for any hands going into your pockets for this particular one. And also, there's even a hidden lanyard loop pin right in there, so fantastic. Everything about this knife, as far as the design, I think was just genius. I don't know anything about O-Stop Hell, but I think he's probably a very intelligent person. In terms of the cons, one thing I will say is this also has an extremely strong detent. When you're first learning to utilize this one, a lot of top flippers you may try to go to the side. This one is not a good way to start on that one. I actually learned that I had to go kind of at a 45-degree angle and kind of push forward because it was so strong. Just to give you an idea, when I really first had to learn it, I literally had to use a second hand. So that's kind of one of the cons. Also, it's not the greatest package opener because it's so long and slicey. You're very far away. I mean, the knife cuts for certain, but you're very far away from packages, and with such a very, very stabby tip there, you end up going into your packages. And the last couple weeks that I was using this thing, I kind of did go into some of the packaging, specifically where there wasn't like bubble wrap on top of it. So it's not the greatest package opener. For certain, it cut down and broke down boxes. And again, there's really no belly to speak of that you could utilize on this thing to open up your packages. The 3.54-inch blade length, couldn't you just have trimmed it down to 3.5? That would make it legal for a lot more people. I don't know if any cop would actually bust you in this particular case. It's basically immeasurable, but it really is the law, 3.54. So that's what I'd say about that. Is really, those are the only cons I found on this particular knife. The design, everything about it, the fidgetiness, It's just a really great knife, and I think a very fair price. A lot of people have a big complaint about the Sandvik steel and the 14C28N, but I don't. I really like that it's easy enough to sharpen, relatively tough, and for this thin blade stock, you kind of like that, because being very thin, it could actually go dull a little bit quicker. So overall, I think it's a great stabby knife meant for light duty tasks, and go get yourself one if you have an interest in this type of a blade. If you like this content, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and hope you have a great day. Take care now.